everyone. We don't normally wear a uniform.
Yeah, we look very accidental.
I'm Rebecca and this is Jackie. We work for FareShare South West, the charity, and we're going to talk to you this morning about food waste and what we do about it and what can be done about it at festivals. So, got a picture here showing a big load of food waste and increasing food poverty in the UK. So food's responsible for nearly a third of our national greenhouse gas emissions. It's a really big part of your ecological footprint. And a recent report said that up to half of the globe's food is thrown away, and most of this is perfectly good food. It's all along the supply chain. It's not the stuff that's after the supermarkets or that you throw away after your dinner. It's a lot earlier on in the supply chain. It's about 2 billion tonnes of food a year is thrown away, and the global population is rising at an alarming rate, but our ability to feed people is actually going down because of the climate change and increasing competition for land and various other factors. So the only way that we can cope with this global food crisis, that's what we're in, is by tackling food waste, and all of us need to try and deal with that. There's over 7 billion people in the world at the moment, and about 1 billion people are going hungry at the moment. So in the UK, of our population, there's over 4 million people who can't afford to feed themselves a healthy diet. And yet at the same time, in this country, we've got 450,000 tonnes of usable, in-date food is being thrown away every year. So that's 4 million people are hungry and 450,000 tonnes of good, in-date, safe, good quality food is being thrown away each year. So not only is this a tremendous waste of energy, a waste of resources and a waste of money, but to turn that food into compost or to send it to anaerobic digesters is not a good use of that resource. It's worse than tar sands in terms of the use of that resource. That food should be going to people who need it. So I'll hand you over to Jackie now to tell you about how we deal with that.
So FareShare is a national charity. It's been going in the UK for around 15 years, and it's in 18 locations around the UK. So we work with the food industry to receive their surplus food, and we work with over 50 food industry partners. Now they're all the big names that we all see out there, including, and on top of that, manufacturers and distributors to all the big names. So all of the food that we get hasn't got to a shop. Lots of people think we go round to the back doors of supermarkets at the end of the day, but we don't. We work with the food industry to receive the food before it even gets to the shops. Now the reasons why we get the food are short date to the shops. So a lot of dried products like cereal or rice or pasta, the supermarkets don't want it on the shelves unless it's got longer than 3 months life on it. So to them that's quite a short date. Other reasons are the barcode doesn't work, so a really good example of that. A few months ago we had about £800 worth of gammon joints, and we had them because the sticker on the outside of the plastic, the barcode didn't work. So instead of taking the sticker off and replacing it, it's cheaper to throw it all away. Other examples are out-of-date promotions. So the Olympics is a really good example, Red Nose Day. So if the promotion is out of date, the product doesn't want to be seen on the shelves. Outer boxes that are damaged, that hold inner boxes, that hold packets, but the outer box is damaged, so they'd often throw the whole pallet away rather than just a few boxes. So it's all about money and saving money. So we get this food and then we give it out to organisations that work with vulnerable people. So on a national level, we work with about 855 organisations, and they include hostels, day centres, night shelters, old people's projects, young people's projects, refugee projects, women's hostels. Vulnerable people is quite a broad spectrum, and they feed and they give out food parcels. Last year, FareShare National on a national level gave out over 3,000 tonnes of food, and that is equal to around 7 million meals. Now, the food that we get from the food industry doesn't even add up to 1% of the food that is wasted in this country. So we get less than 1% of the food waste. All the FareShares around the country are franchise of the national FareShare, so we all work quite differently. We come from the southwest, from Bristol, so we all have different projects which are quite unique. So I'll just tell you about a few of our other projects. We have a very small team that we employ. The rest of the people that we have working with us are volunteers. Over half of them are or have been vulnerable in one way or another. So they might have mental health issues or have had addiction problems. And we try and help them build up their self-esteem and their employability. And we have OT, occupational therapy students that come and help them. We also go into schools and educate young people to try and make the next generation better at buying food. And more recently is our catering arm. Thank you. Is our catering arm. So we've done various events. We've had stalls at festivals. And this is Feeding the 5,000, which was the first one to come outside London. And we fed nearly 5,000 people in 4 hours of free lunch. And these are all to raise awareness and to raise valuable funds for us. I'm going to hand you back over to Rebecca. She's going to talk about the impact on festivals.
So, as Jackie said, over the past few years we've done more events and festivals, which is why we're here talking to you. And we've done everything from like one pot wonders to fine dining. We did at Shambhala last year. And all this is with food that would have been thrown away, and so it raises awareness about food waste, and people can just, by buying a meal off us, they're actually reducing the festival's carbon footprint. They're stopping that food being wasted, so they feel like they're doing something good. It's raising awareness and it's raising much needed funds for our charity. And what we were finding was, after the festival, and also, so at Shambhala, we served around a tonne of food, which is probably pretty standard for a food stall at a festival. So for every tonne of food that's produced, there's 4.2 tonnes of CO2 equivalent is associated with making that tonne of food. And then if that tonne of food's put into landfill, there's another half a tonne of CO2 equivalent associated with all the methane that comes up. So for every tonne of food we serve, that's 4.7 tonnes of CO2 equivalent is shaved off your carbon footprint at your festival. And then what we were finding was, after the festival, other stall holders were coming to us without us, they knew that we were a charity and what we did, and they were giving us their leftover food, all in date, perfectly good food. It wasn't the slops or anything, it's all good quality food, because they knew we were a charity that could give this food out to vulnerable people. So from Shambhala and Brisfest last year, we collected half a tonne of in-date usable food without even trying, without asking anyone. Took it back to our warehouse and gave that out to our project. So that enabled us to provide roughly 1,190 meals from half a tonne of food. And also it helped reduce Shambhala's carbon footprint and stop that food being wasted and thrown into compost. And we're HACCP certified, which is a food industry term. It means that we're a certified food business with the highest level of food hygiene been awarded to us, food hygiene standards. And so it means we're trusted by the food industry and we operate safely. Also, another impact on the festival, as I read in the the Good Food for Festivals guide, which is on the Greener Festivals website. That because obviously it varies from festival to festival, and you're all different sizes, and you all deal with your food waste differently. But it had an example on there of Glastonbury. So they compost between 150 and 200 tonnes of waste every year, and they estimate that 50 to 75 tonnes of this is food waste. So if we say 25 tonnes of this is usable food waste, because most of it comes from the vendors, it's not people throwing it away, it's the vendors have stuff left over because they don't know how much, how good a festival they're going to have. So if we were able to take home that 25 tonnes of usable food from Glastonbury, we could provide nearly 60,000 meals in the southwest to vulnerable people, and we'd shave off 118 tonnes of CO2 equivalent from their carbon footprint just by taking that food and giving it out to people. So I'm going to hand you back to Jackie now to tell you about our service.
So what we would like to be able to offer is for us to come and collect surplus waste at the end of the festival. And we're used to shifting a lot of food in a very short space of time because of, date implications and things like that. And we're also used to dealing with a lot of food. And as a pro bono for us for you to give to us, we would like to have a food stall of some kind to raise money and to raise the awareness. We've got some flyers which will be in the other room which explains it in more detail, and you're welcome to come and speak to us in the breaks. And does anybody want to ask any questions at all?
Can you tell a little bit about the transportation? Like, how do you handle that? Because how are you getting it all from different suppliers and?
Well, we either pick up or we get it delivered to us. So it depends on the food industry suppliers. If we were going to be working with festivals, then we would come and pick up. We've got good relations with companies that have Arctics and have various different lorries. And we would also really like to take chilled food as well, as long as it's got its trail of food safety, so it's the probing temperature, we can deal with chilled as well.
So we've got chiller vans, and we've got a huge warehouse in Bristol with walk-in fridges and walk-in freezers. So as long as we can see that the food's being kept safely all the way along. So if we're working with your festival, we'd have to speak to the traders beforehand or as part of the information that they get for the festival, and say, if you make sure you store your food properly so that if you don't use it, it can be taken and given to a good cause at the end.
How much notice do you get? It sounds like Ready Steady Cook on a massive scale.
Well, we don't do the cooking, so we don't work within. We give the food out to organisations that then work with vulnerable people. So we're a little bit we're a food distributor, really. So everything's packaged. So the food that we would take from festivals would already be packaged. But we're constantly running around delivering or collecting food. And we're shifting, in the southwest, we shift between 30 and 50 tonnes of food a month. So about a tonne a day we're delivering out to organisations.
And they're used to the random packages that they get.
They have to be a bit like Ready Steady Cook on what they're making, but it makes them more creative with food.
I've been given a mic. Hello. Is it working? There's some anecdotal evidence that suggests that quite a significant proportion of the waste in campsites is actually packaged food. Can you tell us whether is that something that you can collect, because you wouldn't have necessarily an audit trail behind that?
If the packages aren't damaged, if they're intact, then we can take that.
And if it's non-chilled?
Yeah, so
we wouldn't be able to.
It's like tins or packet rice or whatever.
What about vegetables?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe there could be collection points where people could, you know, drop off their. I don't know if we could wander around if we've got enough of a team to go around the campsites. But yeah, it's definitely something. At Shambhala this year, we put a notice out for people, because we had a fine dining restaurant there. We put a notice out for people to bring food that they had in their fridges, or vegetables and tin and packets that wouldn't last for the time, and we got loads and loads.
Yeah,
people love to come and give us all of their veg that would have been wasted through the time that they were at Shambhala. So yeah,
because vegetables don't become unsafe. So some food becomes unsafe if you leave it around, but vegetables wouldn't. So we could just take them.
Is that it? Thank you.
I'd like to give a round of applause.
welcome to Green Events and Innovations 2013, which is the 5th running of this conference. It's got bigger every year. Just here's got, by the way. That's the best way of doing it. You just eject it. I don't really know computers. I know it's my computer. Well, so welcome. Thank you very much for coming. Nice and bright and early in wet London. A little bit of housekeeping first of all. I've been told there are no fire drills today. So if fire alarm does go off, it is a fire. So please leave by the stairs. There are stairs behind us there, or stairs you walk right through the corridors down there and up, and just leave the building as fast as possible. We're very pleased you're here. We've got a packed agenda, so we'll try and keep to time today, which is quite important. We've got lots of sessions to go through, presentations, mixed presentation panels, which Teresa's about to go through with you. We have lunch, which is a buffet lunch or sandwich lunch when we break, and hopefully also we will have coffee available, although the room at the moment where the coffee should be is full of speakers and leads, but I'm sure they'll be cleared out quite soon. If not, I have no idea what goes on, but we'll find out. And with no more ado, Teresa, do you want to go through the agenda?
Yeah, I think I'll just run through the programme. As Ben said, we've got a really packed programme. I think it's our best programme in the 5 years that we've done it. So at 10:15 we're going to welcome Jackie and Rebecca from FareShare for our first session. Here. We're then moving on to the power behind the festivals, and we've got a panel for that one, which includes Chris Johnson from Shambhala, who's done a lot of research very recently. We will break at 11:45 and have some coffee then, and that will be in the next room. So there's another room adjacent to this one, so we'll have coffee in there. Following coffee, we are going to be looking at managing waste with Claire and Holger and Marek and Ed Cook. And then lunch. Lunch is at 1:15, and hopefully it'll be a good opportunity for everybody to do a bit of networking, have a nice lunch, and get to know each other. After lunch we have a couple of things running parallel. So we have a workshop for the Greener Festival Awards, which is run by Helen Wright. I'll be running a separate workshop on the audience research that we've carried out in conjunction with the Greener Festival, and they're both at 2:30. Following on from that, we have the Greener Festival Award and the aggregated 2012 results, and that again is with Helen. We'll have a break in the afternoon, and then we've got a special which is a focus on Finland. We have some presenters, particularly Elena Levula and Celia, and please forgive my pronunciation, it's probably terrible. Celia, I'll leave it at that. Finally, we'll have a session on water, and then the green ticket, which is a new aspect. We haven't really looked at that one before, have we? So that's brand new to our sessions anyway. And then at about 5:45 we'll have a wrap up and we'll finish. I think there will be the possibility of having drinks.
We will tell you about drinks later on. We'll arrange drinks afterwards. Not here. Where's Claire?
Yeah.
Where is it going to be, Claire?
It's at Gloucester Arms. It's about 10 minutes walk away.
Okay.
Just down Gloucester Road.
And we will provide you with some drinks if you want to come and have a drink with us as well, which would be nice. You're most welcome to come along with that. I'll put my credit card behind the bar and then I'll take it away again and run as fast as possible. Just if you could make sure your mobiles are turned to silent, please. Doesn't interfere with you, does it, Bruce? Mobiles, no, or if alive. Okay, wow. This is being streamed, by the way. There is water at the back until the break with cordials. Have I forgotten anything, do you think?
No? That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Just a brief thanks to the RLMC for providing us with some accommodation for this event, so thanks to them. But without further ado, I really hope you enjoy the day, and I'd like to welcome Jackie and Rebecca from FareShare South West to run our first session.
Well, does that make sense on the screen?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.